I grew up in a family where faith has always been a central pillar. From a young age, I heard stories of miracles and testimonies that inspired hope and courage. However, like many, I never imagined that one day I would be at the center of one of these stories. This is the account of how God, in His infinite mercy, restored my health in a way that only He could have done. It all started unexpectedly. I was a healthy person, full of energy and with many dreams. However, a number of symptoms began to appear. At first, they were small discomforts that could easily be ignored. But over time, these symptoms worsened. What started as a simple pain has become a debilitating condition. I went from doctor to doctor looking for answers. The examinations were exhaustive, the diagnoses confusing and often contradictory. Each consultation seemed to bring more doubts than solutions. Over time, my hope began to erode. It was hard to keep the faith when the days became a constant struggle against pain and discouragement. My family and friends tried to support me, but the truth was that I felt that no one could fully comprehend what I was going through. I began to question everything. Why was this happening to me? Where was God in that moment of pain? It was on one of these dark days that my mother suggested something that would change my life forever. She asked me to attend a prayer meeting at our church. First, I was reluctant. My body was weak and my soul even more despondent. However, something in His gaze convinced me to try. When I arrived at the church, I was greeted by a group of people who, even without knowing me deeply, were willing to intercede for me in prayer. There was an atmosphere of hope and faith in that place that began to penetrate the layers of skepticism I had accumulated. During the prayer, something extraordinary happened. As people cried out to God for my healing, I felt an inexplicable peace wash over me. It was as if a soft light was enveloping my body and my soul. For the first time in months, I felt like I wasn't alone in this battle. More than that, I felt that God was with me, listening to every cry, every tear, every sigh of hopelessness. After that experience, something began to change. It wasn't an instant cure, but I noticed small signs of improvement. My energy began to gradually return, and the pain that was previously constant began to subside. I began to hold on to each small victory as a reminder that God was at work, even if I couldn't see the full picture. I decided to intensify my search for God. I began to pray daily, read the Word more often, and declare promises of healing over my life. One day, during one of these prayers, I felt a deep desire to completely surrender my situation to God. Until that moment, I was still trying to control things in my own way, but I realized that I needed to fully trust Him. It was a moment of total surrender. I declared aloud that I was placing my health, my future, and my doubts in God's hands. Immediately, I felt a lightness that I had never experienced before. Shortly thereafter, I received an invitation to attend a healing and restoration meeting. Again, I was reluctant. My rational side questioned whether it would really make a difference. But something inside of me pushed me to go. During the meeting, I heard testimonies from people who had experienced miracles in their lives. Their stories filled my heart with hope. When the time came to receive prayer, I went forward with a mixture of expectation and fear. As the minister prayed for me, I felt something that I cannot fully describe in words. It was as if a stream of power ran through my body. I felt intense heat, followed by a sense of relief and peace. At the end of the prayer, he told me something I will never forget. God is restoring your health completely. You will be a living testimony of His power. In the days that followed, I realized that something extraordinary had happened. The symptoms that previously tormented me have completely disappeared. My energy returned, my mind was clear, and my heart overflowed with gratitude. I returned to the doctor for further examinations, and the results confirmed what I already knew. My health was restored. The doctor himself, stunned, admitted that there was no scientific explanation for what had happened. This miracle not only transformed my health, but also changed my relationship with God. Today, I am a completely different person. My faith has been renewed, and my heart is filled with gratitude. I have come to share my testimony with others as I believe God wants to use my story to inspire faith and hope in the lives of others. What I learned from this experience is that God never abandons us, even in the darkest of times. When all seems lost, He is working behind the scenes, preparing something extraordinary. His grace is sufficient, and His power is perfected in our weakness. Today, as I look back, I see that every moment of pain and struggle was used by God to draw me closer to Him and make me an instrument of His glory. If you are going through a challenging time, I encourage you to trust God. No matter how big the obstacle is, it is bigger. Surrender your worries to Him, trust in His goodness, and wait for the miracle He has in store for you. Just as He did for me, I am sure He can also restore your life and bring hope to your heart.